as we present The Healing Box, live at Inglewood's world-famous Miracle Theater, Saturday evening, May 23rd at 7 p.m. Look, I understand. Your attachment style has been running your life like a rogue algorithm, and nobody has had the courage to press pause. Until now, Dr. Bakoya McCall and yours truly are curating a night where clinicians, spiritualists, and an all-star panel of Black woman healers like Dr. Shalonda Sunshine Crawford, Dr. Jashana Johnson, and spiritualist Precious McGill will join some amazing spoken word artists and the legendary comedian Louis Dix to diagnose, disrupt, and heal your relational wreckage in real time. Listen, bring your trauma. As a matter of fact, bring your baby mama. No, bring your testimony. And if you're still texting your ex at 2 a.m., baby, you're not just invited, you're the target demo. Tickets are moving fast, so grab yours at themiracleinglewood.com before your dating history gets flagged as a pre-existing condition. That's themiracleinglewood.com. We'll see you there Saturday, May 23rd at 7 p.m.
Welcome in. Happy Wednesday. You were locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. All up in the business Wednesday. And tonight, the culture is giving hypocrisy, revisionist history, and a little bit of, really? You're shocked? So, yes, first up, it's April 15th. Have you paid your taxes? Listen, don't mess around. You don't want those fines. The government wants theirs, okay? And the internet wants drama. And I've got a little of both. Some stories, some context, and also tonight I am giving away a Who Has It snack box, gift box. That's coming up later. But tonight we're getting into Dave Chappelle. He is breaking down why Saudi Arabia was suddenly a yes after being a no. And spoiler alert, he says that all the hypocrisy coming his way is because he's a black man. We'll get into it. We're also getting all up in the business, as it is all up in the business Wednesday. So we are talking the NFL media rights machine. It's getting a Fed look right now. And fans might be the ones that are getting played ultimately. And we're going to talk a little bit about Lamar Odom's Netflix documentary. There's been a lot of messy fallout from it. A lot of life lessons in it. So we'll get into that. And Mary Mary's Tina Campbell, her marriage may finally be at the altar of enough. So we're going to get into all of that. But before we do, I have to start the night off with a couple of conversation starters. First up, last night, I forgot. Happy birthday, Al Green. It was his 80th birthday yesterday. So big ups to that. Love and Happiness is one of my all-time favorite songs. So we have to give shouts to that. All right. Listen, we're talking NFL Fed coverage later, but right now we're getting into Live Nation. They are facing a potential breakup after a monopoly ruling came down. One of the biggest in live entertainment took a serious legal blow. A federal jury in New York found Live Nation and Ticketmaster liable for operating an illegal monopoly, and now the next phase could decide whether fans finally get relief or whether this industry just keeps charging people a convenience fee for their own suffering. So it's been reported that the ruling came down after a case pushed forward by more than 30 states, including California, pushed ahead accusing them of illicit behavior, basically. And the DOJ reached a separate settlement, but this case had nothing to do with that. And the judge still has to decide the remedies for that. And yes, a breakup is on the table. It was a Manhattan federal jury. And they said that the fans in 22 states were overcharged by $1.72 per ticket. And listen, we all can attest to those random fees that we get when we go to a concert, and how initially you'd see the ticket price and then all of a sudden you go to pay for it and there's another $20 in fees attached to it. So this was something that was necessary, and I'm glad to see it, but will it do anything ultimately for where ticket prices are in addition to that? Probably not, right? Fans have been saying for years the system feels rigged, right? Not just expensive, but rigged. And you wait in that digital line, the fees multiply like roaches, and in the end, you still end up in some questionable sections at times, right? So now we have legal language to what regular people have been screaming since what? Beyonce, right? So we'll see. Andy?
Are they going to be behind the whole Chris Brown Usher tour?
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. That's who I got my pre-sale announcement from the other day. So, yes, they are. Remember, April 21st and April 23rd, man. They are the biggest concert venue holder, and that was some of the complaints from smaller venues, is that they have such a monopoly on the ticket system and the booking portion that others couldn't get in on it, and they would control it from the promoter side, then the fees. So they were involved in every aspect of it. And if you weren't a part of their, promotional machine, if you couldn't fit in, then you were kind of boxed out. So we'll see what happens. When we come forward, we're going to get into these trending topics and headlines. You're locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Are you ready for the hottest entertainment scoop in Los Angeles? She's bringing you exclusive interviews with today's biggest stars, behind-the-scenes Hollywood insights, and all the entertainment news you need to know. She's breaking down what's trending, what's ending, and what's just beginning in the world of entertainment. You're riding with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Ask yourself this question. Is it really worth holding on to that timeshare that you know you need to get rid of? Here's the truth. The average maintenance fee just went up over 17%. That could have been 117%, and there's nothing you can do about it. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check for annual maintenance and assessment fees. I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. For 15 years, I've helped over 50,000 families cancel their timeshare. Not sell it, not transfer it, cancel it. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment and your maintenance fees would never go up? That's a lie. Are you ready to get rid of your timeshare once and for all? Simply call us and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit that explains all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your timeshare exit kit. 800-242-1551. That's 800-242-1551. 800-242-1551.
Ready to order?
Yes.
We're earning unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver Card, so let's just get one of everything.
Everything?
Fire everything. The Capital One Saver Card is at table 27, and they're earning unlimited 3% cash back.
Yes, Chef! This is so nice.
Had a feeling you'd want 3% cash back on dessert.
Ooh, tiramisu.
Earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver Card. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
We love America in spite of, not because of. And that's the deepest kind of love. This is KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Tired of being locked out of job opportunities and shut down by systemic racism? KBLA Talk 1580 stands with you in fighting for the rights of black workers, and we don't black down. The Los Angeles-bred Workers Center is a dynamic alliance of workers, organized labor, community-based organizations, clergy, students, and scholars working collectively to improve the position of the black working class. The LA Black Workers Center takes a comprehensive approach to addressing the black jobs crisis. Their programs promote access to quality jobs, racial equity in hiring and retention, discrimination-free job sites, and they prepare black workers for employment in high-wage career track jobs. The LA Black Workers Center supports workers who need help protecting their rights on the job. They give workers access to quality jobs and remove systemic barriers to employment. And they are advocating for a fair deal for black workers in the new Los Angeles City Charter. To sign up for free career readiness training, get involved in organizing, or learn about union apprenticeship programs and trade registries, please visit lablackworkercenter.org. That's lablackworkercenter.org. Together, we can beat the black jobs crisis and build a more equitable Los Angeles. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Now back to more entertainment news with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Welcome back in. You're locked in with Jill Munroe and KBLA Talk 1580. So if at any point you want to get in on the conversation, 800-920-1580. That's the number that you can dial, 800-920-1580. Said that kind of fast, right? Or you can get at us on social media, KBLA 1580. Me personally, I'm at Stiletto Jill everywhere. You can also hop into the YouTube chat. Join the VIPs in the conversation. It's already chatting up in there. Now listen, Dave Chappelle, right? Always controversial, so it seems. He has a new interview that is out with Michael Martin of NPR, and in it, he discussed his decision to perform at the 2025 Comedy Festival in Saudi after previously turning down several invitations over the killing of journalist Jamal Khashoggi. Okay? In the new conversation, he framed the decision less as an endorsement of Saudi Arabia and more as a response to what he believes is American hypocrisy. Especially, he says, when it comes to U.S. institutions and corporate partners that are already doing business there, right? So Dave argues that as a black man, he was taking personal heat while government and entertainment companies were moving like business as usual, and nobody had a problem with them. So let's take a listen to what he had to say.
The first time I can remember doing a big show in the Middle East, right before I went on stage, they gave me a list of all the things I wasn't supposed to address. It was like right before I went on stage. So I took the list on stage, and that was the show. I just did the list. Don't talk about the royal family. Is that y'all? And I just made fun of them. Man, they were screaming. Ah! And that was in Dubai. Man, in Riyadh, that crowd watching that comedy, the first time the government let them even see something like this, it was like a baby tasting sugar. If I had choked a tiger out, they couldn't have been more impressed. They were screaming.
U.S. intelligence did make it clear that they believe that the Saudis killed Jamal Khashoggi in the embassy in Turkey. And you knew that when you went, right?
Oh, absolutely. Now, I should tell you.
You had no qualms?
I'm going to say that they asked me to go years before that, and I said no for that very reason. Since that time, the United States government does business with the Saudis. Netflix does business with the Saudis. Everyone, the Saudis finance tons of movies. All these things. I know, I see them financing boxing matches and all these things. And none of these things were an issue until I went there. Now, why is that? As soon as a black man can make money off the plantation, they're trying to tell you that the money is dirty. Well, okay, I'll go home and spend the money with actual slave owners on it.
So Dave said a lot, right? For backstory, I'm going to mess this up. The Raidaya Comedy Festival took place in late 2025, right? And it draws major U.S. comedians, but it was controversial because of Saudi's human rights record and the continuing shadow of the 2018 murder, right? Chappelle joked that it was easier to talk in Saudi Arabia than it is in America, which only intensified the criticism of him. In this appearance, right, he obviously discussed varied topics. The Live Golf League, right, that is based there. We saw a lot of people leave the U.S. pro circuit to play there. Then there had to be some sort of kind of agreement as far as maybe playing in both or things of that nature. We've seen boxing matches take place there or be funded from there, right, Andy?
WrestleMania is going to be there next year.
Something else, well, and TKO, which is the holdings company of WWE, is effectively a Saudi company, right? And so I think it is an interesting paradox. Not saying that there is no one that has had problems with these varied other entertainment entities having business there, but by and large, they are allowed to function without much pushback. But Dave, already a controversial figure, he also points out in this interview that he feels that the Republican Party used his trans comments not in the way that his jokes, I should say, not comment, in the way that he intended, and he wasn't happy with the way that they manipulated that, so to speak. But this is an internal celebrity morality complication. People want artists to be the conscience of everybody, right? Of the empire, but the empire is still cashing checks. And Dave's point, whether people agree with him or not, is that entertainers often become the easiest target because of their visibility. And it's cleaner to drag a comic than it is to untangle all the oil, tech, media, diplomacy, Netflix money, etc., etc. Are you really going to cut the cord? Are you tracking where your gas is coming from? Probably not. We had the conversation last week about John Hope Bryant saying that we are all capitalists in some form participating in that. So I'm not saying that there shouldn't be boundaries or moral standards and integrity, but I am saying that sometimes we poke that intensity so hard when we don't do half of that for ourselves or the businesses or services that we utilize in our day-to-day lives. So I guess the bigger industry question is not really should Dave have gone, it's why is it only moral outrage activated when the celebrity gets involved? And we kind of just don't pay much attention when, it's just companies, right? And we've talked about for a while now, Saudi Arabia has been aggressively using sports and entertainment as a soft power branding under Vision 2030. And the U.S. media, sports, and live events companies have all had to decide where they stand as far as Saudi's goals, their desire to expand their content, venture off into new and other areas, and still have the capital to pay to utilize said expenditures, right? comedians are just the latest layer of that. And, you know, it's a complicated thing. We have been examining a lot lately and having conversations around what does acceptance or tolerance really look like when it comes to art and how you engage with your art, right? You know, was Dave supposed to be the sanctions version and everybody else, the corporations and such, are first class? I don't know. Andy?
The same people criticizing him are going to be the same people that's going to watch whatever special he has. So, by extension, you're supporting Saudi Arabia to a degree, I would assume.
I mean, these are facts, you know. Forrest Harrison in the chat says Tiger Woods turned down Live Golf Tournament. Then all the white golfers said yes. Well, I mean, regardless, yeah, it would have been hard. The irony is it probably would have been more scrutiny on Tiger if he had been the first to accept those funds. But obviously, we know Tiger needs to take a break for a little while anyway. But that's a separate conversation. You know, we've had parts of that. Morris Phillips says, Dave reminds me of an old college professor I had. The guy makes you think, don't he? I mean, he brings out the paradoxes and contradictions that we have with most things. This idea that we are all, it's all or nothing, has really got us messed up. It doesn't allow for real conversation at times. It doesn't allow the flexibility. I'm not saying bending. I'm saying flexibility to have certain conversations, to make use of certain things to benefit overall, you know? Again, it's something we continue to visit as far as conversation and what is right. It's not just as far as with the Saudis. It comes as far as, you know, someone like Kanye, right? And here's the thing, right? Kanye has said some things that for some will never be able to forgive, right? Mental illness or not, he's done it, right? But some people still continue to get in business with them, but then hide their hand when it goes bad. For example, what we saw with UK Wireless Festival and Pepsi approving Kanye as the headliner, but then taking the stance and pulling out once a little bit of backlash started. So I don't know. We'll continue to make these decisions, especially as money continues to shift where we get investment from, how to fund these things. Everybody wants more entertainment, more digital. This person deserves to get paid. Well, where is the money coming from to pay him? Somebody has to break, right? Right. So, I mean, listen. Dave is going to be Dave, right? Okay, so it is Wednesday. No DH tonight, but we're still getting all up in the business. And this is kind of related to the Ticketmaster conversation we were having at the top of the show. Oh, wait, I have a question in the chat. Pretty Brown Mimi wants to know why Tiger Woods getting treatment overseas versus in the U.S. He's received treatment in the U.S. before. I mean, well, sometimes overseas treatments allow for different types of technology that may not have yet been approved in the United States, may be deemed more I can't talk tonight. Maybe more of an experiment type process, whereas over there it might be more standardized, and so he can head over there, get more advanced treatment, and not have to do the wait, kind of like Kobe did with his knee in Germany back in the day.
In other words, the medical field over here in America sucks.
I wouldn't say
it does.
Sucks.
It does because they're not worried. They're not trying to cure people. They're going to prescribe you a pill. You feel me? Things going to get worse. You're going to come back to the doctor. I'm going to stop.
I think that has a lot to do with the insurance industry, that part of it, and, you know, what they consider preventative care and after the fact and stuff like that. That's a long conversation.
If they really cared about it, you know what I'm saying? Like some of the foods that they offer here in
These are
America
facts.
would be banned. Because in other countries, they're banned.
I mean, even
They want sick people.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the rollbacks that have happened as far as like the Food and Drug Administration with this new administration and the stuff they let fly, and we're having more food recalls and things of that nature. That is something that is very, very scary. But what can you do? You got to eat. So,
Low-key, Joe, I'm low-key becoming an advocate of not eating. Or let me say this, 1 meal a day.
okay. So
And that
fasting.
one meal is something that's nutritious if possible. Cuz it's unfortunate. Like, you know, I'm a coffee drinker. I had to look at my coffee creamer and look at the ingredients up in there, and I'm just like, man, I low-key got to stop this. Because all that stuff is messing with your insides and stuff like that.
It is.
If you look at any food item and it has more than like 3 ingredients, you probably need to find something else, low key. I'm a firm believer in the whole foods, 1 ingredient type stuff. That's my transition right now. I'm trying to focus on that. I think it's important for all of us.
Are you also like, you know, a lot of people are letting go of like Bluetooth technology and things like that. You know, they're going back to wired headphones.
Man,
Are you doing those type of things too?
I am not, but I am aware. I am conscious of it. I low-key want to get, the blue eye glasses or whatnot, considering all the screens that I'm in front of on a regular basis or whatnot. That technology piece is going to be a little bit challenging for me, but I am aware of that too.
So, well, when we come forward, we'll get all up in the business of the DOJ looking into the NFL media rights machine, which, you know, it's kind of interesting. I was just listening to Ray Richards on the break, and he was discussing how the NBA's ratings are up 186% this year. Same kind of model that the NFL uses. But we'll talk about it on the other side. You're locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Almost made you love me. Almost made you cry. Almost made you happy, babe. Didn't I? You almost had me thinking you were turned around, but everybody knows.
You're in the know with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. Former President Barack Obama is congratulating Virginia voters after they approved a redistricting referendum backed by Democrats. Obama had urged Virginians to vote yes, saying Republicans were trying to tilt the midterms in their favor.
By voting yes, you can push back against the Republicans trying to give themselves an unfair advantage in the midterm.
After the vote, he thanked Virginians for standing up for democracy and fighting back. The parents of 14-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez are speaking out as the case against black singer David moves forward. In a statement, they called Celeste a beautiful and strong girl and thanked Los Angeles police and prosecutors for their work. David is due back in court on Thursday. And Georgia Congressman David Scott has died at the age of 80. Scott began his political career in the Georgia legislature and later became the first black chair of the House Agriculture Committee. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
The San Bernardino County Registrar of Voters reminds San Bernardino County residents to vote early in the June 2nd California primary election. Learn about ways to vote, your polling place, and more at elections.sbcounty.gov.
Is this the This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
A couple of leftover notes from the Lakers' win over Houston Tuesday night in Game 2 of their NBA playoff series. The Lakers' defense had a huge impact on Kevin Durant being a non-factor in the second half. Durant scored 23 points in the game, but had only 3 in the entire second half. He also finished with 9 turnovers. Durant had a very difficult time with his ball handling and getting off shots. credit the Lakers' intense defense for giving Durant a hard time. In the absence of Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves, the Lakers may have discovered a new Big Three. During the regular season, the Big Three was LeBron, Doncic, and Reeves. The new Big Three appears to be LeBron, Marcus Smart, and Luke Kennard. The trio accounted for 75% of the Lakers' offense last night. They combined for 76 points, 16 assists, and 16 rebounds. The challenge for the new Big Three is to maintain this production in Game 3 Friday night in Houston. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
Hi, I'm Zoe Williams, host of The Voice of Reason, weeknights at 7 p.m. here on KBLA Talk 1580, with a personal invitation for you to join me and Insight.me as we present The Healing Box, live at Inglewood's world-famous Miracle Theater, Saturday evening, May 23rd at 7 p.m. Look, I understand your attachment style has been running your life like a rogue algorithm, and nobody has had the courage to press pause. Until now, Dr. Bakoya McCall and yours truly are curating a night where clinicians, spiritualists, and an all-star panel of Black woman healers like Dr. Shalonda Sunshine Crawford, Dr. Jashana Johnson, and spiritualist Precious McGill will join some amazing spoken word artists and the legendary comedian Louis Dix to diagnose, disrupt, and heal your relational wreckage in real time. Listen, bring your trauma. As a matter of fact, bring your baby mama. No, bring your testimony. And if you're still texting your ex at 2 a.m., baby, you're not just invited, you're the target demo. Tickets are moving fast, so grab yours at themiracleinglewood.com before your dating history gets flagged as a pre-existing condition. That's themiracleinglewood.com. We'll see you there Saturday, May 23rd at 7 p.m.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 joins you in standing for voting rights. The midterm election campaign season is here now. The 2028 presidential election is right around the corner. When We All Vote is a leading national nonpartisan initiative on a mission to change the culture around voting and to increase participation in each and every election by helping to close the race and age gap. Created by Michelle Obama, When We All Vote brings together individuals, institutions, brands, and organizations to register new voters across the country and advance civic education for the entire family and voters of every age to build an informed and engaged electorate for today and generations to come. When We All Vote empowers their supporters and volunteers to take action through voting, advocating for their rights, and holding their elected officials accountable. It's all in for 2026 and 2028. Please visit whenweallvote.org to stand up for your rights, voting rights. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. You're listening to Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
I wanna ride. See, I would be
Welcome back in. You're locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. That's a Coffee Brown, right?
Do you watch Cadillac Chronicles?
I do.
They was on there.
Were they really?
Let me tell you something. Shout out to that Cadillac Chronicles.
I love it.
This dude be having everybody that we listen to that's, not on the top, so to speak, but we're significant.
We're still vibes.
Man.
Listen, recently I saw one. He had Sweet Tea. Now, you don't know who Sweet Tea is.
Yeah, I don't know.
You have no idea, but I'm going to tell you, I'm going to share. Sweet Tea was like a female rapper that dropped in 88. She was versatile, from New York, of course. But she had flow, she had bars, and so she still looks good, and she broke out some of her hits. Now, at that time, was it Yo MTV Raps? Yeah, probably Yo MTV Raps, a little bit of BET. We would see her stuff. Probably the Mayor Rap City time. Do y'all remember the Mayor in Rap City? What was his name? Chris Thomas. This is before Tigger.
Before, was it Big Les?
And before Big Les and Prince DeJour. When Rap City first came on, when it was just like a blue backdrop and a fence, the host was Chris the Mayor Thomas. And he used to always do this and stuff. And I'm saying do this. Like, you got, see, if you were watching on YouTube, you could have seen it. Anyway.
What's a popular song from her?
On the Smooth Tip. What else? Sweet Tea is that. Of course, now I can't remember. On the Smooth Tip, though, is the one that comes to mind. There's a couple, but it's TEE. And, she was on the most recent Cadillac Chronicles. Get into it.
Yeah, for real. Really tap in. I mean, I recently saw Gorilla Zoe. I saw Crime Mob on there. Minus Diamond. I saw, I can't even think about it, but, man, all the legends.
Didn't they have JT Money on there one time?
They sure did.
Just like random stuff.
Soleil was on there.
Yep. So that was my joint. Who that?
Bun B, T.I. was on there recently. And the cool thing about it is these cats are just driving around the city.
Right.
Chingy was on there, was dope.
They're giving away right now an opportunity for people to ride in the back seat while they shoot one of the shows. Yeah, I saw it on the Instagram. I don't know. You can enter. I suppose you have to be in Atlanta. I think that's where it's shot at. It is? Okay, yeah, so that makes sense. All right, listen. Now, this is where money and the fan experience collide once again. The U.S. Department of Justice has opened an antitrust probe into the NFL's broadcast rights model. And they're looking at whether the way the league slice up games across networks and streamers is limiting competition. Are they making football too expensive and too complicated to follow? That is the question being posed, right? It's not just TV business inside football too expensive. They're also talking about whether being a fan of the NFL basically is quietly becoming a luxury subscription bundle, right? Because think about it. You have to have Prime, Netflix for the holidays, right? Peacock for some. And it used to be a free market product. And increasingly, that is no longer the case, right? So ESPN reported on April 10th that the DOJ opened a probe into whether the NFL is harming consumers through the way it sells its broadcast rights. So the league currently has deals with ESPN ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox, Prime Video, and Netflix, while some games have also landed on ESPN Plus, YouTube, Peacock, and the NFL Network. So the league's rights deals are worth more than $10 billion per year and run through 2033, with ESPN's extending through 2034. The NFL has said that 90% of its games remain on free broadcast TV, and all games air free in the local markets of the team playing. And ESPN is also reporting that 83 of the 100 most watched TV events last year, they were NFL games. So live sports is the draw. It's the moneymaker. It's what keeps people engaged. One of the few things that does, right? The Washington Post reported that in 2025, NFL games appeared on 10 different services, and that is following the full season. That's after the season. So if you pay for all of these services, right? To watch a full season of the NFL could cost you more than $1,500. And currently, federal scrutiny is tied to the Sports Broadcasting Act of 1961, which gives leagues a limited antitrust exemption to sell the rights of the games collectively. Lawmakers, including Senator Mike Lee and Rep. Patrick Ryan, have questioned whether that framework still makes sense, given that in 1961 there were 3 networks, and now we have cable, streaming, and the like, right? So these are the various ways that it hurts the fan. Obviously, first and foremost is the cost. The league may say that most games are still free locally, but fandom today is nationally driven, right? It's fantasy driven. It's gambling adjacent, and it's highlight addicted, right? And, of course, social media. So fans don't just want their home team. They want availability to the whole ecosystem. And if the only way to follow that ecosystem is stacking Prime, Netflix, Peacock, YouTube, ESPN, and whatever comes next, the NFL has basically put a monthly tax on fan loyalty. So, second, friction. Sports, and I talk about this with the NBA, even though the ratings are up. I've told you guys this season has been complicated for me, right? Sports should be easy to find, but viewers have to remember which service has Thursday, who has Christmas, who has out of market, whether this week's matchup is on cable, streamer, or behind a premium add-on. It weakens the casual viewing and makes it harder for kids, older fans, and perhaps lower income households to stay locked in, right? And then thirdly, is long-term brand erosion. The NFL is still the biggest thing on television, but over-optimizing for rights fees can nibble away at the ubiquity of that. Scarcity may help a little bit in the next contract negotiation because accessibility is what makes sports feel like culture rather than content. But it feels as though we've been treating it as content, right? If you want football to stay a national ritual, you can't keep playing hide and seek with the games, right? And 7 passwords and a credit card statement. Andy?
What was that 1,500 number that you dropped? Was that like yearly or something?
Yes.
I don't know if that's true. 1,500 a year based off of all of those platforms?
Right.
But I guess if you're dropping 20-something, I guess my whole thing is like folks used to have cable, right?
Right.
And cable was pretty expensive. You dropping like maybe, I don't know, 150, 200, 300 a month.
But here's the argument, right? For a lot of people, would they have 5? Like cable is one thing you plug in, and the cost is why we ended up on the streamers, because the cost kept going up, especially for things like ESPN, not directly, but as far as the carriage rights and so forth. So the question becomes also, but with cable, in theory, you got all things at once. So you got your ESPN, your movie channels and so forth. But now you got to get 5 to get that same deal that we got with one box.
I think my argument is, if you had cable at one point, satellite, your bill was like, I'm going to just say $200 a month.
Right.
Let's say you don't have cable and you subscribe to these streams. They probably equal based off of the monthly charges. I'm going to go ahead and just say that. Because it's funny because I'm low-key thinking about getting rid of my cable. Considering the fact that everything that I kind of watch now are on these streaming platforms. And low-key, all of those streaming platforms combined together is cheaper than my cable bill.
Facts. For now.
Yeah,
Netflix
you're right.
just raised its prices. They keep raising their
I
prices.
got the email.
You know, I mean, here's the thing, right? The NFL's real product is not just football, it's habit. Sunday is a habit. Thanksgiving, habit. People gathering at the same time, habit. It's one of the strengths of the NFL. They have the least amount of games. It's easy to follow. You know that Sunday and Monday, and now Thursday, that's when you're going to get the games. It was one of its strengths. So when the business model starts interrupting the habit, that's when fans can get resentful. And once resentment gets attached to access, even a king can start looking a little like he's wearing no clothes.
I'll tell you this. With the rise of DraftKings and FanDuel and all the other type of stuff, Ain't nobody worried about it. They going to find a way to watch these games. If you're tech savvy, you know what websites to go to tap into some of these games, even if you don't have those platforms. I'll leave it at that.
I mean, these are facts. These are facts. I mean, media business is pushing back, rising rents, fees, all of that. What you gonna do? We got some decisions to make. When we come forward, more trending topics and headlines.
Your ride with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Hi, I'm Fred Martin, founder of Compton Kids Club. I just want to talk about the authenticity and tell y'all about my homeboy, Tom Steyer. Tom is a rock star. When I met him, Tom gave a grant to schools in San Francisco. All the kids were on probation. We were flying instructors for 2 years to come and help those kids doing performing arts and turning their life around. Some of the kids that he supported, they've graduated from UCLA. Let's fast forward. Tom is in schools in Compton, hanging out with the kids in the piano classes. Brother Tom Steyer hangs out in the studio with us. These are the seeds that he's planted. This has nothing to do with elections. What's coming out of his mouth is not a campaign speech. It's authentic, and when he say he walks away from a business because he want to do his values, he ain't making that up because he's running for governor. This man is real.
Ad paid for by Steyer for Governor 2026.
Stay informed with 24/7 power outage alerts from LADWP delivered straight to your phone or email when an outage occurs. Get notified when there's a major outage and again when your power is restored. Track up to 3 neighborhoods, like your home, your workplace, even a family member's. Stay connected. Stay informed. Sign up at ladwp.com/outage alert. That's ladwp.com/outage alert. Sign up today at ladwp.com/outage alert. Getting around LA doesn't have to cost a lot. Metro has fares that fit every budget. 20 free rides for qualified riders through the Life Fare program. Free passes for students with GoPass and affordable options for everyone in between. Wherever you're going, Metro's got you covered. Visit metro.net/fare programs.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 is connecting you with services and solutions. Domestic violence and family violence is when someone in an intimate or family relationship tries to gain or maintain power and control over another through a wide range of abusive behaviors. Every single act may amount to abuse. Abuse can take on various forms: psychological and emotional, physical and economic, and sexual abuse. The Genesee Center Incorporated is a nationally recognized nonprofit domestic violence prevention and intervention organization, housing women and children from 30 days up to 2 years through emergency and transitional shelters. The Genesee Center also provides support services like mental health counseling, life skills classes, computer training, job referrals, after-school programs for children, field trips, tutoring, and comprehensive direct legal services. If you need help or you'd like to donate or volunteer, call the Genesee Hotline, 1-800-479-7328. That's 1-800-479-7328, or visit genesee.org. Everyone has the right to be safe. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. You're listening to Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Welcome back in. You're locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. Woo, I feel like we've covered so much. But listen, I mentioned I have a Who Has It gift box for 2 of you. So this is what you got to do. call in right now and you'll get the deets on how you get this Who Has It gift box. I keep forgetting to bring it in with me, but you will get treats, you will get beauty products, you will get snacks. There's a whole plethora of things in there, and it's always different every time you receive it. So call in to get your box.
Is the box kind of gender-based?
The box it's unisex.
Unisex.
Yeah.
Right.
So, I mean, snacks are gender free. Everybody can do it. And here's the thing, as far as the beauty products go, I feel like everybody could use a nice facial scrub, some hair wash, some body lotion. So, it's all types of things. So, call in and get your Who Has It gift box. All right, listen. Last topic for the night. Okay. Lamar Odom, he has a documentary on Netflix. It's really intriguing. It's a life lesson for somebody out there. But, of course, there is a lot of fallout from said documentary, right? It is supposed to be about survival, addiction, and the wreckage of fame, and it is. But the conversation is quickly turned into something else, which it always does, and it's whether or not Lamar is taking accountability for some of his choices and whether Khloe Kardashian got used to help sell the story and make the documentary, right? It actually reminded you how much collateral damage Khloe was in that relationship and her being his rock in the spiral, right? That's the real cook, so to speak. Not the Kardashian curse, but, you know, watching this redemptive documentary, which is kind of half resolved. Andy, you look like you had something you wanted to say.
No, I just wanted to shout out Morris Phillips. Congratulations, my brother.
Shout out to Morris Phillips. Big up to you. Appreciate it. All right. So, Untold, The Death and Life of Lamar Odom premiered on March 31st, right? And again, it traces his rise to fame, NBA fame, his marriage to Khloe, and his near fatal overdose in a Nevada brothel. It revisits the 2015 night that he was found unresponsive outside Las Vegas at the what was the ranch called? I can't remember the name of the ranch. The
Bunny Ranch.
The Bunny Ranch. That's it.
Yeah, that show was fire on HBO.
I remember that show. It actually was. So you know, Lamar, I think he had like 12 strokes, 6 heart attacks after the overdose, and he spent months relearning how to walk and talk and all of these things. Khloe talks about coming into his room, finding him smoking, I think meth or crack, and finally
Coke,
kicking him off. She also talked about how, well, this is after the fact, he refuses to acknowledge that he was smoking crack. He says that crack is for poor people, and so he was smoking cocaine, right? Sounds very much like Whitney's line, crack is whack, I don't do crack, darling. But he also said that Khloe married him for ascension, and he alludes to him wanting that as well. And the thing is this, Khloe is very hurt by that. She is like, it's not true, and that it doesn't make sense with all of the things that they went to. And she's right to a degree. But I have talked many times about who Lamar Odom was at the time when he met Khloe. And at that time, Lamar was trying to shop his own reality TV show. He very much wanted to be a power couple with somebody. We know that he was kind of dating Taraji on the low at that time when he met Khloe. And just as soon as he met Khloe, he blew Taraji off because who had the most heat? So it's kind of interesting the way that it's all playing out, right? So Khloe was on her podcast, Khloe in Wonderland, and she said that she participated in the documentary as a favor and was not paid one penny. And she felt played after Lamar's latest press run, where he said to Entertainment Weekly that he insinuated that she was a liar and downplayed her role in helping him recover, and questioned her claim that his father wanted to remove him from life support. He was like, God, nursed me back. Facts, But Khloe was right there. I mean, I like Khloe Kardashian. She's a ride or die. She seems to have a really good heart, not just with Lamar, with children, so to speak. I know, people feel how they feel about the Kardashians, but this is just my POV of what I've seen over the years. And I felt the two were really in love, but I don't think Lamar's intentions initially were about love. I think that he was, you know how men call women gold diggers, and he was digging a little too, and he wanted that attention, that notoriety that came from being involved with them. It was a win-win situation, but I do believe that they were deeply in love. I really do. But I do think that he's playing in her face, thinking, one, that she would lie to him about his dad. Your dad never came back to the hospital to see you. God rest his soul. But he had addiction issues too, so maybe he wasn't in the right frame of mind when he said that. And I know that's something hard to hear from your parent. And then part two to that is, why are you playing in Khloe's face, Lamar? She held you down. Really, really, she did. She kept your secrets. She didn't make you look bad. She didn't put you out there for all of the little reckless and dirty things that you were doing. And you still cheated on her and made her look a little crazy. So, take accountability for the mess that you put yourself into.
Sounds like they need some healing amongst each other. Sounds
no,
like
they don't. They've moved along.
Oh.
They don't got no kids. There's no reason for them to heal. It's over.
I
That
guess
sounds
so.
like something that Zoe Williams and Precious can speak to coming up next. I'm just saying.
That was a great documentary, and I just want to say that Lamar Odom must have had Jesus in his life somewhere, because
These are
what
big
is it,
facts.
12 strokes, 6 heart attacks,
Ridiculous.
and you still look normal.
Can move around, do things out there playing pickleball, healthy enough to go smoke crack again. Listen, thank you guys so much for locking in each and every Monday through Thursday. Tomorrow's Front Row Thursday. I have some special interviews coming up for you tomorrow, so make sure you're locked in. Coming up next is Zoe Williams, the voice of reason. We'll be back tomorrow.
Life never tells us the winds are wise. When you've got friends to wish you well, you'll find your point when you will exhale. Yeah, yeah. Say shoot, 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 baby, shoot, baby, shoot, 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 shoot. Shoot, shoot, babe, shoot, babe, shoot, babe. Say shoot, say shoot, say shoot, babe, say shoot, say shoot, babe, shoot, they do. Oh, hearts are often broken when their words unspoken. In your soul, there's answers to your
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. Former President Barack Obama is congratulating Virginia voters after they approved a redistricting referendum backed by Democrats. Obama had urged Virginians to vote yes, saying Republicans were trying to tilt the midterms in their favor.
By voting yes, you can push back against the Republicans trying to give themselves an unfair advantage in the midterm.
After the vote, he thanked Virginians for standing up for democracy and fighting back. The parents of 14-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez are speaking out as the case against black singer David moves forward. In a statement, they called Celeste a beautiful and strong girl and thanked Los Angeles police and prosecutors for their work. David is due back in court on Thursday.